When people think about the richest man in the world, one name often comes to mind: Bill Gates. For many years, he was the wealthiest person on earth. But money is not the only thing that makes Bill Gates special. He is also one of the most important people in the history of computers and technology. Without Bill Gates, the world would be very different today. Bill Gates helped create the modern computer world that we all use every day. He made computers easy for everyone to use, not just for scientists and computer experts. Thanks to his work, millions of people around the world can use computers at home, at work, and at school. His company, Microsoft, changed how we work and communicate with each other. But Bill Gates is more than just a successful businessman. Today, he spends most of his time helping poor people around the world. He uses his money to fight diseases, help children get better education, and make the world a better place for everyone. His story shows us that one person can really make a big difference in the world. Please remember to subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories about famous people who changed the world. Now, let me tell you the incredible story of Bill Gates. From a curious boy who loved computers to one of the most important people of our time. Early life and first computer. William Henry Gates Roman III was born on October 28, 1955, in Seattle, Washington. His family was well known in the city. His father, William Gates Roman II, was a successful lawyer. His mother, Mary Maxwell Gates, worked for many important organizations and helped people in need. Bill had two sisters, Christiane and Libby, and they lived in a comfortable house in Seattle. From a very young age, Bill was different from other children. He was extremely smart and loved to read books. While other kids were playing outside, Bill preferred to stay inside and read encyclopedias. He read so many books that his parents sometimes worried he was spending too much time alone. But Bill was not lonely. He was just very curious about the world and wanted to learn everything he could. When Bill was 11 years old, his parents decided to send him to a private school called Lakeside School. This decision changed Bill's life forever. Lakeside was a school for very smart students, and it had something very special: one of the first computer terminals that students could use. In 1968, computers were huge machines that filled entire rooms. Most people had never seen a computer, and very few schools had them. But Lakeside School bought time on a computer that was located far away. Students could type commands on a terminal at school, and the terminal would send the commands to the big computer through telephone lines. When Bill first saw the computer terminal, he was fascinated. He spent hours learning how to write simple programs. At first, he could only make the computer print simple messages on the screen. But Bill wanted to learn more. He read every book about computers that he could find. He asked the teachers many questions. Soon, he became one of the best student programmers at the school. At Lakeside, Bill met another student who loved computers as much as he did. This student's name was Paul Allen, and he was 2 years older than Bill. Paul was also very smart and good with computers. The two boys became best friends and spent most of their free time working on computer programs together. Bill and Paul were so good with computers that they sometimes found mistakes in the computer programs that adults had written. They even started a small business while they were still in high school. They created a program that could count cars on busy roads, and they sold this program to the city government. During his time at Lakeside, Bill learned something very important about himself. He discovered that he had a special talent for understanding how computers work and how to make them do useful things. This talent would later make him one of the richest and most famous people in the world. Harvard University and the big decision. After finishing high school, Bill was accepted at Harvard University, one of the most famous universities in America. His parents were very proud of him. They hoped he would become a lawyer like his father, or maybe a doctor. Bill went to Harvard in 1973 to study mathematics and computer science. At Harvard, Bill was a good student, but he did not spend all his time studying. He still loved working with computers more than anything else. He often stayed up all night in the computer room, writing programs and learning new things about computers. His roommates sometimes complained because Bill would come back to his room very late at night. While Bill was at Harvard, something very important was happening in the world of computers. Small computers, called personal computers, were just beginning to appear. Before this time, all computers were huge and very expensive. Only big companies and universities could afford them. But some smart people were starting to build smaller computers that regular people might be able to buy and use at home. In January 1975, Bill saw a magazine article that changed his life. The magazine was called Popular Electronics, and on the cover was a picture of a small computer called the Altair 8800. This computer was much smaller than the huge computers Bill had used before. The article said that people could buy this computer and use it at home. When Bill saw the magazine, he immediately called his friend Paul Allen, who was working at a company in Boston. Bill was very excited. He told Paul that this small computer was the beginning of something very big. He believed that soon many people would have computers in their homes and offices. But there was one problem with the Altair computer. It was very difficult to use. It needed special software to make it useful for regular people. Bill and Paul decided to write software for the Altair computer. They worked day and night for 8 weeks to create a program that would make the computer easier to use. When they finished their program, they contacted the company that made the Altair computer. The company loved their software and wanted to buy it. This was the moment when Bill had to make the most important decision of his life. He could stay at Harvard, finish his studies, and have a safe, normal life. Or he could leave Harvard and start a computer software company with Paul Allen. It was a very risky decision. Most people thought that small computers would never become popular. Bill's parents wanted him to stay at school and finish his education. But Bill believed that personal computers would change the world. He could see the future in a way that most other people could not. He decided to leave Harvard and start his own company. His parents were worried, but they supported his decision. Bill was only 19 years old when he made this life-changing choice. Many years later, Bill said that leaving Harvard was the right decision. But he also said that if his computer company had failed, he would have gone back to Harvard to finish his education. Fortunately for Bill and for the world, his company did not fail. Instead, it became one of the most successful companies in history, building Microsoft. In 1975, Bill Gates and Paul Allen started their company. They called it Microsoft, which was a combination of the words microcomputer and software. The company began in a small garage, just like many famous technology companies. Bill was only 20 years old, and Paul was 22. They had very little money, but they had big dreams and a lot of energy. The early days of Microsoft were very difficult. Bill and Paul worked 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. They ate cheap food and slept on floors because they could not afford comfortable apartments. Sometimes they did not have enough money to pay their bills. But they never gave up because they believed in their vision of the future. Their first big success came with a computer language called BASIC. This was software that made it easier for people to write programs for small computers. Many computer companies wanted to use Microsoft's BASIC in their computers. Slowly, Microsoft began to make money and grow bigger. In 1980, something happened that changed everything for Microsoft. IBM, the biggest computer company in the world, contacted Microsoft. IBM was planning to make its own personal computer, and they needed software to make it work. They asked Microsoft to create an operating system for their new computer. An operating system is the most important software in any computer. It controls everything the computer does. Without an operating system, a computer cannot work at all. Bill realized that this was a huge opportunity. If IBM's computer became popular, and if that computer used Microsoft's operating system, then Microsoft could become very successful. Bill and his team worked very hard to create an operating system for IBM. They called it MS-DOS, which stood for Microsoft Disk Operating System. When IBM released their personal computer in 1981, it came with MS-DOS. The IBM personal computer became very popular very quickly. Soon, other companies started making computers that were similar to IBM's computer, and all of these computers needed MS-DOS to work. Within a few years, MS-DOS was running on millions of computers around the world. Microsoft made money every time someone bought a computer with MS-DOS. The company grew from a small business with just a few employees to a large company with hundreds of workers. But Bill Gates was not satisfied with just making operating systems. He wanted to create software that would help people do useful things with their computers. Microsoft began making programs for writing documents, calculating numbers, and managing information. These programs became very popular with businesses and home users. Bill worked extremely hard during these years. He often slept in his office and worked 7 days a week. He was known for being very demanding with his employees. He wanted everything to be perfect, and he expected everyone at Microsoft to work as hard as he did. Some people found it difficult to work for Bill, but many others loved the challenge and excitement of building something new and important. By the late 1980s, Microsoft had become one of the most valuable companies in America. Bill Gates, who had been a college dropout just 10 years earlier, was now one of the richest people in the world. But his biggest success was still to come. The Windows revolution. In the 1980s, most people found computers very difficult to use. To make a computer do something, you had to type complicated commands using the keyboard. If you made a small mistake in typing, the computer would not understand what you wanted. Many people were afraid to use computers because they seemed too complicated. Bill Gates knew that computers would never become truly popular until they became much easier to use. He had seen a new type of computer interface at a company called Xerox. Instead of typing commands, users could point and click on pictures on the screen using a device called a mouse. This made computers much more friendly and easy to use. Bill decided that Microsoft should create a similar system for regular personal computers. He called the project Windows because programs would run in separate windows on the computer screen. Users could have several programs running at the same time and switch between them easily. Creating Windows was not easy. It took Microsoft many years and cost millions of dollars. The first version of Windows, released in 1985, was not very good. It was slow and had many problems. Many people in the computer industry laughed at Windows and said it would never work properly. But Bill did not give up. He knew that Windows was the future of computing. Microsoft continued to improve Windows, making it faster and more reliable. With each new version, Windows became better and more popular. The breakthrough came in 1990 with Windows 3.0. This version of Windows was fast, reliable, and easy to use. People loved it. Computer stores could not keep Windows 3.0 on their shelves because everyone wanted to buy it. Within just 2 years, Windows 3.0 was running on 10 million computers around the world. Windows made computers accessible to everyone. Suddenly, people who had never used computers before could learn to use them in just a few hours. Children could use computers to play games and learn. Adults could use computers to write letters, manage their money, and stay in touch with friends and family. Businesses could use computers to become more efficient and productive. The success of Windows made Microsoft the most important software company in the world. By 1995, Windows was running on more than 100 million computers. Almost every new computer sold came with Windows already installed. Microsoft was making billions of dollars in profit every year. Bill Gates became the richest person in the world. But more importantly, he had achieved his dream of putting a computer in every home and office. Thanks to Windows, computers stopped being mysterious machines that only experts could use. They became tools that helped ordinary people in their daily lives. The success of Windows also helped create the modern technology industry. Thousands of other companies started making software and hardware that worked with Windows. This created millions of jobs and led to many more innovations in technology. Bill Gates had not just built a successful company, he had helped create an entire industry. Internet and new challenges. In the 1990s, a new technology called the Internet began to change how people used computers. The Internet allowed computers all over the world to connect to each other and share information. People could send messages instantly to friends on the other side of the world. They could read news from any country and find information about any topic they wanted to learn about. At first, Bill Gates did not think the Internet would become very important. He was focused on making Windows better and creating new software programs. But as more and more people started using the Internet, Bill realized he had made a mistake. The Internet was going to change everything about computers and software. In 1995, Bill wrote a famous memo to all Microsoft employees called the Internet Tidal Wave. In this memo, he admitted that he had underestimated the importance of the Internet. He said that Microsoft needed to change its focus and make the Internet a top priority for the company. Microsoft quickly began working on Internet software. They created a web browser called Internet Explorer that allowed people to view websites easily. They also started building Internet features into Windows and other Microsoft programs. This was a difficult time for Bill because he had to change the direction of his entire company very quickly. Microsoft's move into Internet software was successful, but it also created new problems. Other companies complained that Microsoft was too powerful and was not giving them fair competition. The United States government began investigating Microsoft to see if the company was breaking laws about fair business practices. In 1998, the government filed a lawsuit against Microsoft. They said that Microsoft was using its power unfairly to hurt other companies. The lawsuit went on for several years and was very stressful for Bill. He had to spend many hours in court defending his company instead of working on new technologies. During this difficult time, Bill began to think about his life and what he wanted to do in the future. He was already the richest person in the world, and Microsoft was the most successful software company ever created. He started to wonder if there were other ways he could use his success to help people and make the world better. Bill also got married during this time. In 1994, he married Melinda French, who worked at Microsoft. Melinda was very smart and cared deeply about helping people in need. She encouraged Bill to think about how they could use their money to help solve problems like poverty and disease around the world. The lawsuit with the government was finally settled in 2001. Microsoft had to change some of its business practices, but the company was allowed to continue operating. Bill was relieved that the legal problems were over, but the experience had changed him. He began to spend less time on the daily operations of Microsoft and more time thinking about how to help people who were less fortunate than himself, becoming a philanthropist. By 2000, Bill Gates had achieved everything he had dreamed of in the business world. Microsoft was the most valuable software company on Earth, and Bill was the richest person in history. He had more money than he could ever spend in his lifetime. But instead of buying expensive cars and houses, Bill began to think about how he could use his wealth to help other people. Bill and his wife, Melinda, started the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in 2000. This organization uses their money to solve some of the world's biggest problems. The foundation focuses on helping poor people in developing countries get better health care and education. It also works to eliminate deadly diseases that kill millions of people every year. One of the foundation's first major projects was fighting malaria, a disease spread by mosquitoes that kills hundreds of thousands of people every year. Mostly in Africa, many of the victims are young children. Bill learned that malaria could be prevented and treated, but poor countries did not have the money or resources to protect their people. The Gates Foundation spent billions of dollars to provide mosquito nets, medicines, and vaccines to protect people from malaria. They also funded research to develop new ways to fight the disease. Thanks to their work, millions of lives have been saved, and the number of people who die from malaria each year has been cut in half. The foundation also works to improve education around the world. Bill believes that every child deserves the chance to get a good education, regardless of where they are born or how much money their family has. The foundation has spent billions of dollars to build schools, train teachers, and provide educational materials to children in poor countries. Another major focus of the Gates Foundation is global health. They work to develop and distribute vaccines that prevent deadly diseases. They have helped eliminate polio from most of the world and are working to completely erase this disease. They also fund research into new treatments for diseases like tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS. In 2008, Bill made a major decision about his life. He announced that he would step down from his daily work at Microsoft to focus full-time on the Gates Foundation. This was a difficult decision because Microsoft had been his life's work for more than 30 years. But Bill felt that helping poor people around the world was now more important than making software. Bill's work as a philanthropist has been just as successful as his work in business. The Gates Foundation is now the largest private foundation in the world, with more than $50 billion to spend on helping people. Bill and Melinda have inspired many other wealthy people to give away most of their money to help solve the world's problems. Later years and legacy. Today, Bill Gates continues to work hard, but instead of building software, he is working to build a better world. He spends most of his time traveling to poor countries, meeting with scientists and doctors, and learning about the problems that affect billions of people around the world. Bill has become an expert on global health and development. He studies diseases, reads medical research papers, and meets with experts to understand how to solve complex problems. He approaches philanthropy the same way he approached building Microsoft, with careful planning, attention to detail, and a determination to succeed. One of Bill's current focuses is climate change. He believes that global warming is one of the biggest challenges facing humanity. He has invested billions of dollars in research to develop new technologies that can produce clean energy without creating pollution. He has also written a book about climate change and travels around the world speaking about this important issue. Bill also continues to support education, especially in mathematics and science. He believes that the world needs more young people who understand technology and can help solve global problems. The Gates Foundation provides scholarships to help talented students from poor families attend university. Despite stepping back from Microsoft, Bill remains involved with the company as a technology advisor. He still loves computers and is excited about new developments in artificial intelligence and other advanced technologies. He believes that technology will continue to make life better for people around the world. Looking back at his life, Bill Gates has achieved things that seemed impossible when he was young. He helped create the personal computer revolution that changed how billions of people work and communicate. He built one of the most successful companies in history, and now he is using his wealth and knowledge to help solve some of humanity's greatest challenges. Bill's story teaches us many important lessons. It shows us that one person with a big vision and the determination to work hard can change the world. It demonstrates that success in business can be used to help other people and make the world a better place. And it proves that it is never too late to find new purposes and challenges in life. Bill Gates is now in his late 60s, but he continues to work with the energy and passion of a much younger person. He has said that he plans to give away almost all of his money during his lifetime or shortly after he dies. His goal is to use his wealth to solve problems and help people, not to make his family rich for generations. Bill Gates has lived an extraordinary life that has touched the lives of billions of people around the world. From a curious boy who loved to read and learn, he became one of the most important figures in the history of technology and business. His work helped bring computers into homes and offices everywhere, making modern life easier and more connected. But perhaps even more impressive than his business success is what Bill has chosen to do with his wealth and influence. Instead of retiring to a life of luxury, he has dedicated himself to solving some of the world's most difficult problems. Through the Gates Foundation, he has helped save millions of lives and has given hope to people in the poorest parts of the world. Bill's story shows us that true success is not just about making money or building a successful company. It is about using your talents and resources to make a positive difference in the world. Bill has proven that one person, with vision, determination, and compassion, can help create a better future for everyone. Today, when children around the world use computers for learning and fun, when families can communicate instantly across great distances, and when deadly diseases are being eliminated, they benefit from the work that Bill Gates began decades ago in his parents' garage. Bill Gates reminds us that we all have the power to make a difference, no matter where we start in life. His journey from a curious student to a global philanthropist shows us that with hard work, innovation, and a commitment to helping others, we can achieve great things and leave the world better than we found it. Thank you for listening to this story about Bill Gates. If you enjoyed learning about his incredible life and want to hear more inspiring stories about people who changed the world, please subscribe to our channel. Your subscription helps us continue creating educational content that makes learning English both interesting and meaningful.